deep in the heart of the African wilderness. As the sun rose over the golden plains, a desperate cry shattered the calm. A baby elephant, barely a few months old, had strayed too far from its herd. Its small footprints marked the soft mud near the edge of a forest. And somewhere close, hidden in the undergrowth, danger waited. The rescue team, led by Ranger David Okoro, was already on patrol that morning. They had been tracking a herd of elephants migrating toward the Mara River. Everything seemed peaceful, until the herd suddenly stopped at the water's edge, restless and uneasy. Then they heard it, a faint trumpet from a distance, high and panicked. Something was wrong. David raised his hand. "That's a distress call," he said. The team froze, listening. The sound came again, short, sharp, filled with fear. It was the cry of a calf in trouble. Without hesitation, they started moving toward the sound, cutting through the brush with machetes, hearts pounding as the cries grew louder. When they broke through the thicket, what they saw made every drop of blood in their bodies run cold. The baby elephant was lying on the ground, struggling, eyes wide in terror. Coiled tightly around its body was a giant python, thick as a man's leg, its scales glinting in the sunlight. Each time the calf tried to breathe, the coils tightened. The sound of bones creaking echoed through the trees. David shouted orders instantly. "Team 1, distract it. Team 2, prepare the tranquilizer." They knew every second mattered. A python of that size could crush the life out of the calf within minutes. Two rangers began banging metal rods together, shouting to pull the snake's attention away. But the python didn't move. It was focused, determined, its muscles rippling as it squeezed tighter. David crouched low, raised his tranquilizer gun, and took aim. He could feel his hands shaking but steadied himself, breathing slowly. The dart hissed through the air and struck the python just behind its head. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the snake jerked violently, its body thrashing in the dust. The calf squealed, trying to wriggle free, but the coils were still too tight. "Hold on, little one," David whispered. The team closed in, staying just out of reach of the snake's flailing tail. The python's movement slowed, its muscles weakening as the tranquilizer took effect. Inch by inch, the coils loosened. The moment the grip eased, two rangers rushed forward and pulled the snake's body away from the calf. It took all their strength to drag it aside. The baby elephant collapsed, motionless except for a faint twitch of its trunk. Sarah, the team's medic, rushed in with her kit. She knelt beside the calf, her hands moving quickly.
He's gonna make it.
"He's still breathing," she called out. The team gathered around as she began cleaning the cuts where the snake's scales had scraped the skin. The calf's chest rose weakly, its breath shallow but steady. David knelt beside her. "Come on, little one. You're safe now." The calf's eyes blinked slowly. For a long moment, no one moved. Then the baby's trunk lifted slightly, brushing Sarah's hand. It let out a faint, trembling trumpet that broke the tension. Everyone smiled. "He's fighting," David said quietly. "He's not giving up." But the rescue wasn't finished. The herd was miles away, and without them, the calf wouldn't survive long. Elephants are deeply social. They protect, feed, and comfort their young together. Leaving the calf alone was not an option. David ordered the team to prepare a stretcher using wooden poles and strong vines. Carefully, they lifted the calf, grunting under its weight, and began the long journey back through the forest. The terrain was brutal. The sun blazed overhead, and the thick mud made every step exhausting. At one point, a lion's roar echoed nearby. The team froze, scanning the trees. David motioned for them to keep moving. "We don't stop now," he said firmly. They pushed forward, taking turns carrying and guarding the calf. Hours passed before they reached the edge of the plains. Then, in the distance, they saw them. The herd. Dozens of elephants, massive and majestic, their silhouettes shimmering in the heat haze. The matriarch stood tall, her ears spread wide, sensing something in the air. The team stopped and gently set the calf down. It lifted its head weakly and let out a soft trumpet. The herd turned. The matriarch answered with a deep rumble that vibrated through the ground. Slowly, the elephants began to approach. Dust swirled as the giant figures closed in. The rangers stood still, hearts pounding as the herd surrounded them. The matriarch reached out with her trunk, touching the calf gently, brushing its cheek as if checking if it was real. The baby lifted its trunk in response, pressing against its mother's face. The sound that followed was unlike anything the team had ever heard. A deep, resonant call that passed through the herd like a wave. It was communication, relief, and reunion all in one. The adults stepped closer, encircling the baby protectively. The calf struggled to stand, its legs trembling. But with its mother's gentle push, it managed to rise. Sarah wiped tears from her face. "You made it," she whispered. David nodded, smiling as the herd began to move away,
Almost there,
the calf now walking between them. The baby turned once, looking back at the rescue team, before disappearing into the dust with its family. For a long moment, the team stood there in silence. They had seen many rescues before, but this one felt different. This was not just about saving an animal, it was about giving life a second chance. In that moment, surrounded by the endless plains and fading trumpets, they understood something deeper about the bond between humans and nature. Back at camp, David logged the operation details. The tranquilized python had been relocated deep into the forest, far from elephant paths, ensuring it could continue its life without conflict. The team's footage would later be shared around the world, a story of hope that reminded people why wildlife conservation mattered. That night, as the campfire crackled and the stars filled the sky, David looked out toward the horizon. "Sometimes," he said softly, "the wild teaches us what compassion really means."
Specimen.
Sarah nodded, staring into the flames. "And sometimes," she replied, "saving one life feels like saving the world." The jungle was quiet again, peaceful, alive. The elephants were miles away by now, their footprints fading under the moonlight. But somewhere out there, a little calf walked safely beside its mother, its cries of fear replaced by the soft rhythm of the herd's steady march. In the wild, every life is a fight for survival. Yet in that fight, moments like these remind us that courage, kindness, and unity still exist. When humanity chooses to act with compassion, even the fiercest battles in nature can have a beautiful ending. And on that morning, deep in the African wilderness, one small elephant proved that no matter how dark the struggle, there is always a way back to the light.
Keep an eye on his breathing. I need the larger bandage now.
Right here. Good work, Sarah.